Hey, everybody. Hey, sorry I can't make the board meeting on the first. Unfortunately, it's also Easter weekend, and I have made other commitments to help out with my church for Easter service. So I'll be there with you in spirit. And I also wanted to also be there to show you the latest activity going on with the website. And since I can't be there physically to show you, I thought I'd make a quick video to show you the details. So let me get to it. Let me share my screen here and show you what may be a familiar picture now for you. It is our homepage for Neighbor to Neighbor. Not a lot has changed here on the front page. I've rearranged the order of the services a bit. I'm still kind of in search of what other services is. I'll get to that here in a little bit. But I've put the drug treatment referrals a little bit higher in priority here. And I've started replacing some of these stock pictures with neighbor to neighbor specific pictures. And if you guys have pictures, please send them. I would love to call through them and find the right ones to plug in the right spot. But other than that, here on the front page, I really haven't done a lot. I'm going to do this probably at the end and come back and close this out. I'll be looking for, you probably already have it in your inbox, and hopefully you guys will be talking about it in advance. I haven't sent the email yet, but by the time you see this, hopefully you'll have received it, which is a list of all the things that I need help with on filling out. Most of this is content. Some of this I can help with. I have a video camera and things we can make videos, but for things like testimonials and any verbiage and content, I am all ears and hoping that I can get some volunteers to sign up to say, hey, I'm going to take care of this part and that part. So be looking on the lookout for that email. I'll send that to John, and then John can send that out, or actually I'll send it out to everybody. And then you guys can just sign up and let me know specifically what part it is that you'd be willing to help with as far as content. Of course, you're free to provide any feedback on any portion of this, not just anything that you sign up with. So this is got to be all of our website, all of ours, not just a portion that belongs to you. But anyway, this is all that I've got here on the front page. On services, you may have seen, I haven't done a whole lot since I've told you in the email that I got, but this is the format that I'm starting to play with a little bit. And it lists each service in the order of which it's listed on the homepage, but it also has a little section for some ditty about what the service is, maybe a nice picture about it, some information about it as well. And then I add this bonus bar below each service, and in it contains three pieces, maybe some multimedia that we can provide to help them understand a little bit more about what Daily Meals is about. Other resources, right now it's conceptual, but the idea that I can add more links to other things that can again augment what Daily Meals is, perhaps even put needs down here, and I'll get to needs here in a second. And then of course it's always great if we could get some testimonies about that service that says, hey, this has been a great service for me. It helps personalize what that service is. And as I mentioned, maybe have a video about it. I've created this just more or less a placeholder that you could go to. I think I've actually loaded Quentin Lucas's item in here, but an idea of where it's just more or less a video library where people can come up here and see more about neighbor to neighbor. But that's the general structure that we'd go through. So you got Daily Meals, and you'd have drug treatment referrals, again, looking to replace text and perhaps images and other things down here with the placeholder stuff. Clothing and hygiene, which is essentially the thrift store. And then at the bottom, I've even added some other services. And I'm not too enamored with other services. It just seems like a catch-all, but it might be. In this case, it's Swope Health. Maybe there's other things that we can do. And down here in other resources, maybe a link to Swope Health, and etc. And maybe some more information, a video, or some pictures, or a short item, maybe even a blog entry about that particular service. We can get somebody from Swope Health to interview, to get some quotes, those kinds of things to help fill out what these services are. But anyway, this is the layout right now that I'm playing with for the services tab, the services page. If there's any changes that you'd like to make, if there's any additions you'd like to make, any suggestions you'd like to make, I am all ears, as I mentioned. I did a lot with volunteers, but not the volunteer page. This page is still nothing but what it was initially. So I haven't really got anything to that. End-to-end news, however, I've created a blog capability here. And this is kind of cool. I'm really enjoying this. I hope you guys do too. Essentially, it has blog entries. And I got this, by the way, in searching through the web. I ran across this page, which is Find Global. And it looks like folks like Greg has already been doing some blog entries, short and sweet, but to the point, right, of lists everything. And so I stole shamelessly from this in my examples here and took some of those pictures and things. But you can see each entry has its own items. You can say how many people have viewed it. People can comment on it if they like, and even put a heart to it and like the message. So if you click the blog entry, then you'll actually be able to read the article. And the creation, the authorship of this is a separate set of pages that whoever we assign to have the ability to create blogs would be able to get. But it's essentially like putting together a Word document with fonts and, you know, boldings and bullet points and numbers, and you can put video and pictures, even links, and even video galleries, which are a whole bunch of galleries to make it really, really kind of cool and multimedia like. You can put links, like I say, to other items down here, and then people can comment. You'd have to sign in. In this case, I don't have to require people to sign in. In fact, I'll adjust that so that, you know, it could be anybody that can comment, not just people who are members or logged in. But anyway, and I'll get to logins here in a second because I do that as a new feature. But anyway, these are the blog posts for that. One other thing, it has categories up here. I just have all posts, but you can put categories about stories about drug treatment, stories about our neighbors. So insights, you can do different categories or topics, and people can sort by those posts that way. And as you can see, I also have subscribed to our mailing list. We can ask our people here, right, to subscribe to our mailing list. So, you know, I can put Steve, you're right, Grimm, and then my email address, right? And then a little robot thing to make sure that I'm not just something out there, and do a submission. And that will put us to the subscription list. And I have actually a sample of that. First, this will be, and I forwarded this came from my email address at home, but this is what I would get as an end user. I'd get an email saying, thanks for subscribing. We appreciate your interest, things like that, links, and another link to the blog, but a way to add and become a member. Even perhaps we can update this text, but this is a nice thing that would go in their inbox. Additionally, you would get this on the back end. The neighbor to neighbor would get this really basic thing. We can modify this if we like to say whatever, but this way we would get notified that somebody is interested in as a subscriber. Which is kind of cool. So the mailing list can also be used later for newsletters that go out for broad subscriptions, not just whenever you put a blog out. It can also be harvested for donorship and things like that. So whatever they put in here, we can keep and use that as a means of contacting them for other things. So this is the blog. This is kind of fun. People can share it, etc. And you can see that's been viewed, etc. I haven't done anything with the contact page other than the basic setup here, although I would add that I added this. If we wanted people to say, hey, I'd like to volunteer, I've added this button plus an opportunity to say, what would I like to volunteer in, and perhaps leave it, you know, an option there. But other than that, I really haven't touched this page yet to go any details. And likewise, I have not gone into donate yet. This is still just a hold me better, hold together page. But what I have been spending time with, we mentioned a login page. So the idea here is for people who want to volunteer can become neighbor to neighbor volunteers. And with that, we'd invite them to be members of our page and actually volunteer. So to do that, I've got to log in. And plus, we can have pages specifically for the neighbor to neighbor staff, so that this wouldn't be public pages. This would be only for people who are on the neighbor to neighbor staff, particularly to manage volunteers for one thing. And let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to log in. This is a login page. It's generic here. I'm going to modify this in time so that people have more options to do things. But at this point, I'm going to say I'm already logged in, or I'm already a member. People can sign up to be a member. And if I had more time, I'd show you. Somebody from Neighbor to Neighbor would get notified that somebody wants to be a member. You would then review it and then approve it. That person would then get an email saying, congratulations, you're a member, and then point them to it. So I've already done that. I'm going to log in now with my account. Hopefully I typed that right. And now you'd see I'm logged in. I even have a picture here. It's a moon in the evening. But from here now, I have options. I can go and manage my volunteer schedule. I'll get to that in a minute. I'll first go to my account. These are now my personal pages assigned just to Steve Grimm as a volunteer. And I can even be awarded a badge. I forgot to do that, but it would show if I got we can award badges to our members. One of them I can put as valued volunteer, and it would show up maybe with a little icon or something as a badge. But this is where I can manage my personal information for Neighbor to Neighbor if I need to get access to that. But I've also created this, my volunteer schedule. This is a place where I can go and say, this is what I want to volunteer for. The day. And so that way you're getting out of who's showing up when and whatever. They can manage their own schedule. And in this case, you can see I already volunteered anywhere to be anywhere. I don't care where I'm helping out, but on the 30th from 10 till noon, I will be there for whatever you need. So I can also come in here and volunteer for more. But before I do that, I may not be sure there's a need. And from here, I've clicked on this and there's this item here. And again, this is just conceptual. I need your guys' feedback, but we can say, this is what do we need people for? What are our needs for? In this case, I need sandwiches, or I need socks, or I could say I need 5 people for hospitality on this day, or whatever it is. So I know exactly what the needs are, and then I can try to meet those needs, right? And if I do, I'll just come over here to volunteer. And all of this information is filled in already because I'm a member. It doesn't have to be, but I can come in here. Let's just say I'm going to bring something for a meal, right? So I can come in here and say, for the month of April, I'm going to do from 1st, and I'm going to make it recurring. So I'm going to come in here from April 1st to the end of the month, and I'm going to say every Wednesday from, let's say, 10 until noon, I'm going to do a meal donation, and I'm going to say, I will bring soup, just to say, right? I don't have to do recurring. If I unclick this and I just want to do it for one day, I can do all of that. But this is just for some of the people that might want to regularly help out. This would be a way to do that very simply, rather than create one, from every week or whatever week. But I would submit that. And I'd say, I got it. Oh, you're all set up. Automatically, it's populated. This is my entries for every Wednesday of the month of April. And I can then come in here and modify this. If I want to say, oh, I want to bring soup, not just that, but I want to bring tomato soup on this day, I can always come in here and modify that and be updated. So now this day I'm bringing soup. If I don't like it, I'm not going to make it on the 28th. I can hit that and cancel, and I can delete this. I delete my event. And so suddenly on the 28th, I'm gone. So this gives a volunteer 100% flexibility on when they want to volunteer and what they're bringing for volunteer. So that way you don't have to keep track of things, of what stuff are bringing. And by that means, so on the equivalent side of this, I created this staff only page. Speaking of, so here's a staff portal. Only members from Neighbor to Neighbor can get to this. Needs management was where you create, what I need, either as volunteers or as donations, what I need. So I haven't created that page, but that's the idea. But I have created a volunteer management page. Oh, one other thing before I go here, I do want to show you this. So because I did this, when I volunteered, I got an email. This is the first one that would go to Neighbor. So the staff would get this. So it says, looks like you're getting help. Steve Grimm will be here on 3:30. This is a different item that I created earlier just to show you, but I'll bring soup. So this gives you an idea of what will go to Neighbor, and we can set you up so whoever wants to get this email from Neighbor to Neighbor will get notified. And then let's see, I also would get an email from this because I volunteered, right? This would go to me just saying, thank you. We thank you for being this. So thank you. And here's what you volunteered for. Right. You'd have the ability to go down and actually go to your schedule again if you wanted to modify anything. And again, I need to modify some things, but this gives you the idea that this is an interactive site. Now, from a staff perspective, this is where I can go to and say, who are all my volunteers, right? And what are they doing? So by default, it shows me the volunteers for today. In this case, me and the webmaster, which are really your only two volunteers right now, are on schedule to come in. One is going to help, the webmaster is going to help in the thrift store. Steve's going to help anywhere you need him. And there's some contact information just in case you need to get hold of me or the webmaster, in this case, the same person. And then you can always say, I want to show all of the people, right? Who all has been, what are all the days that people have volunteered for. I can sort by any of this stuff. By the station, it means where. And again, these are entirely up to us. I have meal donation, I have kitchen prep, I have hospitality, I have several things in here, thrift store. And then as an admin, I can go in and modify any of these or delete any of these. In fact, I can go in here and create one of my own on behalf of somebody. I can type in somebody else's name in here and fill all this stuff out just as if I were a volunteer myself, and fill that in for someone, so that at any given time, you can see what to expect from any of the volunteers. Now, granted, most of the volunteers we're pretty thin on, but this gives an opportunity. If we're going to ask people to volunteer, it gives them an opportunity to see how slick we are, how cool we are, how easy it is for them to volunteer. And on the backside, how much easier it'll be for you to manage the volunteers. So take a look at this. I would encourage you to go out to the website, and I'm going to log out here and go out to the see, there you go. See, this is just still a test site, so apologies for that. I would invite you to go out to the website and log in. In this case, request to sign up. When you do that, I'll go ahead and approve you, and you'll be able to see firsthand the changes or the emails that you get and the experience that you have. And again, I can modify the experience. This is just basic bones. We can always modify this to change it. And then you can log in and play with your own process. And I'll set you up as a neighbor to neighbor staff member as well. So you'll be able to get access to the neighbor to neighbor portal, so you can see all that stuff. So I'd encourage you to go out here and play and tweak and click. And as you would, I stopped sharing 1 second. Didn't mean to do that. Okay. But I would invite you to come out here and play with the whole thing and try to break stuff if it's pages or if it's whatever it is. And certainly be a critical eye, be a creative eye for anything that we'd like to add to this. But anyway, this, I thought I'd give you guys an update on what it is. I'm afraid I went pretty long on this one, so I apologize. But I wanted to make sure that you guys got a sense of the functionality that we're capable of. And we can do a lot more with this. We can be even more creative, even sophisticated if we need. It's not that difficult to do. I've done a few of these now, so I've got some experience to make this a little easier. But give you an idea of what the possibilities are for neighbor to neighbor. And as I mentioned, you all hopefully will have received an email where that identifying the areas where I need your help and participation. I do plan, I'm going to sit down with Greg. At some point, Greg, we keep trying. I'm failing that test very, very badly, but I'm going to find some time with you. We'll sit down. I have video equipment. We'll tell your story. I would like to do some other things. If you do phone videos as well, if you get some neighbors to agree to take a picture or do a video and talk a little bit, all the better, all the more. The more we can enrich the data here and the information on our website, the more interesting, the more alluring it will be to our visitors here. And then, of course, like I say, on the email, I would love to have you sign up for saying, hey, I can take this piece of information, or I can sign up and provide this piece of content. That doesn't restrict you for contributing everywhere. I'm just looking for somebody who could maybe be point for the particular areas of content. I don't feel comfortable necessarily writing up all the content. And I know some of you have provided some guidance, and wherever that is, I've certainly done that. Oh, one other thing I didn't show you about is the About Us page. I did finish that. I didn't realize that Greg was so popular with the news stations. There's a video here for KCTV5 that I found as well, but this is the page About Us. I didn't show you this before. I would be interested in yours feedback on this. The who is neighbor to neighbor is all of us, or all of you actually. And I would love to have a ditty about each of you, about your background, what your interests are, and something, as you can see, not very long. I don't want to have it scrolling a book, but something short and sweet about why you are with neighbor to neighbor, who you are, et cetera, and maybe what your role is. And then there'll be a way to email you so that if people want to contact you that way. And then I do have this tab, which is our history, which I thought with John's help talks a little bit about the history of neighbor to neighbor so that they can see what's going on. And of course, we can enhance the photos, we can enhance the story as we go, but something to give, again, a picture of who neighbor to neighbor really is versus just this organization. So anyway, I forgot to tell you about that page, and feel free to look through that as well. Anyway, enough. I've been talking enough. I hope I haven't rambled too much. I hope you've been able to follow along. And like I say, I would enjoy that you go out here and play with it and give me whatever feedback that you may have. There's nothing sacred about this. We can change this however which way everybody wants it to be. So anyway, with that, again, have a great rest of the meeting. Have a great Easter. And until next time, guys, I guess we'll see you later. All right. Take care. I'll be in contact. Bye-bye.